All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the CGC podcast. I'm your moderator / host for today. My name is Noreen. And with me, I have a wonderful panel of guests for today. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are we feeling? How is the temperature of the room generally?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Good.
So kita yang mental sekarang ni.
Okay, so we have good energy here. So hopefully we'll have a good conversation today lah, kan? Okay. So before we dive into the topic, so today's topic would be mental health awareness. Perhaps maybe we can the panel can introduce themselves. Let's get to know everyone a little bit deeper. Maybe you guys would like to share maybe your experiences in CGC and maybe something that your colleagues may not know about you. Just to make it a little spicy.
Okay, maybe
start first?
Yeah, I start first. Yeah, my name is Azura. I have been with CGC for 20 years now. This is my 20th year. Been in the workforce for about 30 years. So you can guess what is my age. I'm with a strategic program management at the moment, and I have. In my journey, I have met a lot of people from sorts of background and challenges. So this actually makes my life more richer with lots of interesting experience. So when you talk about if you want to know the interesting part of me, the secret part of me is actually I'm actually I need to be organized. I need to be structured. If it's not organized or structured, I have a difficulty on executing things. So it makes me a bit more serabut lah, you know. So I need that, and I think maybe some of you guys are aware. Those are close to me. I'm a very adventurous person. I love nature. I love outdoor activities.
So do you enjoy hiking, swimming, mandi sungai,
snorkeling? Hike up, gardening, all sorts of even archery or
archery.
Yeah. So
have you taken up scuba diving before?
No, but I've been going to since I was early 20s lah. I've been going to all the islands. Our Malaysia has a lot of beautiful island that I cover. Perhentian, I cover Tioman, I cover Redang, I cover Pulau Kapas, I cover Sabah, some of the island, but near KK. I haven't covered the Sempurna side because
Sempurna is beautiful though.
It's beautiful.
You have to go there.
But I'm scared being kidnapped.
I'm sure you can fight them off. Alright, thank you so much. That's really interesting. Okay, so you're super adventurous and 20 years in CGC, huh? Okay, alright. Maybe Uma, you want to go next?
Yep. Hi, I'm Uma. I'm the head of compliance for CGC. I think I've been with CGC slightly over about 2 years now, 2 years plus lah. But I'm not going to share how long working experience I have.
Okay.
You probably can guess.
We know.
But long enough to understand how the corporate world works and how to manage workplace related stress, maintaining my composure. So long enough lah. Macam-macam perangai orang dah jumpa.
Similar to Azura in that
tapi
your life
tak
is very
adalah
colourful.
as long as Puan Azura. If there's any interesting fact to share about me, I believe I'm claustrophobic. I have fear of confined spaces like now. and this is something that I don't share with many people. I have this fear of entering the lift or elevator alone. You know, I always have this fear that I'll be stuck in the lift and then suddenly there's a zombie who opens up from above and comes in and bite me and I become a zombie and I start biting people.
Omar, I think you should watch that movie Zombie Kampung Pisang. I think your impression towards movie towards zombie is totally
What is it about? Is an actual zombie ke apa?
No, it's it's a funny side of the zombie.
Oh, okay. My fear of zombie is more the one that we saw in the Walking Dead punya series tau.
That's
Can
scary.
you imagine me going around biting people in CGC? Goodness, I cannot imagine.
Zombie kampung pisang zombies they don't use lifts. That's the main difference.
Oh, okay. Itu lagi teruk tu. So yeah, and another thing is that I cannot operate without coffee lah. So if I don't have my coffee yet, my staff know they won't come near me lah. And I won't be responsible with what comes out from my mouth.
If you don't have coffee, you become the zombie.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a simple background about me. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yep.
All right. Mus, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hi Nurin. So my name is Mustaqim. I'm from Legal Department. I've been with CGC for about 10.5 years. So after finish my study, I actually practice law for about 3 years, and then I joined the corporate world as a legal advisor in some of financial institutions. So after that, in March 2014, I joined CGC until now. Okay, so
Darah biru.
not macam pandang surah. Not yet lah. Okay, so my hobby is actually like to ride motorcycle, particularly big bikes lah. So I think the interesting fact, I dah accident 4 kali.
4 kali accident, superbike
involved
accident.
But disclaimer, not all because my fault. Other people fault.
always other people.
Yeah, other people's fault. So
Standard.
Seri-seri
Yeah.
tu.
Seri-seri,
Ya, itulah.
I think there's a joke among bikers kan. They said kalau you naik motor, you tak pernah jatuh sekali tu, I mean you're not really a biker lah. So but anyway, I think that's the whole experience ni make us more careful, so alert to the surrounding. So I tend to be more careful lah. Yeah. So
So your downtime, your me time is riding your bike.
Yep.
Do you ride alone or do you ride with your friends? Or?
sometimes alone, sometimes with friend, depending on time kan. So bila this kind of age, that time tu macam limited sikit lah.
Okay. So you really enjoy every time you get to ride your bike lah. Okay. Alright. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
And last but not least, Faiz, do you want to share?
Yep, thank you, Nurin. So name is Faiz Nazlan. I've been with CGC for 5 years now, slightly over 5 years. Joined CGC in 2019 as the head of strategic planning, but recently been redesignated
Promoted.
to redesignated to head of strategic finance. All this while in my career, mostly in strategy, transformation, investment, and now more into finance lah. Interesting fact about myself. This I just found out over the weekend actually, through a YouTube video. So I am 170 centimeter in height, but lying down flat horizontally, I am actually taller. I am actually 173 cm.
3 cm taller.
3 cm taller because of the effect of gravity. So I mean the explanation is quite simple lah. Gravity compresses the disc in your spine, so that's why you are slightly shorter. But as you lie down flat, then there is no longer effect of gravity compressing the disc, so that's why you are taller lah. You can try it at home.
Je nak tanya, kalau on papers you nak declare yang mana satu?
Mana satu ni?
Now I think I can declare
both lah.
173 lah.
Kalau
Perasan.
Ni siapa yang ukur? Siapa yang ukur? Masa you baring tu siapa yang ukur?
My daughter lah.
Cik, daughter lah, bias lah.
Tak. Tapi I audit the result.
You audit yourself?
2 and 3 times.
Oh, cik.
Boleh percaya lah.
Okay lah, Faiz. I give it to you,
Alah, 3 cm.
3 cm je.
Officially boleh tulis kat kertas 173 now. Okay. Alright, thank you everyone for sharing. Hope the audience enjoys the little little facts, fun facts about you guys. But I see that everyone here is wearing green ribbons.
Yes.
Maybe someone would care to explain apa ribbons ni?
Oh, okay. Maybe I just share. Okay, this green ribbon is actually because every year on 10 October every year kita celebrate, the world celebrate World Mental Health Day. So happen this discussion is in October today. So in sync with the title and the mental well-being coming up. So yeah. Anyway, we want to give you one.
Thank you so much.
You can.
Okay, I'll just write it down.
Yeah.
So it coincides very well lah. World Mental Health Day with the upcoming topic right now, right?
Yeah.
So I think it fits perfectly. I guess then talking about mental health, right? What do we actually mean by mental health?
I think I start first. Okay, when we talk about mental health, the law actually recognize mental state of a person. So it form a legal requirement actually for a person to be of sound mind when entering into a contract or even to be a witness. So what is sound mind? Sound mind is actually mental capabilities of person to make an informed decision. So this is what actually sound mind refers to. And I think in Malaysia we have an act called Mental Health Act. So this act provide for comprehensive care, control, rehabilitation, treatment for person with mental disorder. So this act also they govern the setup of government or private psychiatrist hospital, mental care, and so on. And under this act, the word used or as the term used is mental disorder, whereby it defined as any mental illness, arrested or incomplete development of mind, any psychiatric disorder, any disability of mind, however acquired. So we can see from definition, the coverage is quite wide. So it's not only confined to specific type of disorder, for example, anxiety or stress or bipolar. So it's wide. So for me, my personal view is that mental health is actually refers to the overall well-being of a person, be it physical, emotional, and also social well-being. I would say that a person is in a good state of mind when he actually can interact well with others. He can cope with daily stresses. He can work well. So I think it's a good state of mind of that person. Tapi kalau ada anything off, I think there's a concern on that person's state of mind.
I see. So essentially, mental health can be defined. It has a broad definition.
Yeah.
But essentially, it covers emotional well-being,
Yeah.
physical well-being, and your ability to cope with the day-to-day stresses of life,
Yep.
and do it well. Okay, all right. Thank you for that very succinct and detailed definition of mental health. How about someone else? Would
Yeah, if I can continue from what my colleague just shared here. For me, it's about an overall, your overall emotional and psychological well-being at every stage of your life. You see, mental health is not something that it only affects a certain age group of people or a certain gender. It's very different from illness, because when we say that for physical illness, for example, we know that certain ethnicity or certain age group of people are at a higher risk of getting it. But it's very different from mental health. It can affect anyone, even children can get it. And recently, I read this survey on National Health and Morbidity Survey. It was issued in June 2024. You see, surprisingly, about 1 million people in Malaysia alone is suffering from depression. And the age group that this starts is from 16 years old. So when I was reading that, I was wondering, what possibly can depress a 16 years old? Because it's a perception that you have that, only those, largely affected is only those in the workforce, right? But we fail to understand that students, right, in school, they have their own pressure to cope, peer pressure, not being part of the crowd, or even in terms of exams. So this is also a form of mental health that need to be addressed. Even housewife for that matter, right? For a housewife, we always think that the working woman is the one that's always, but no. Imagine a housewife who is tasked to take care of, makan, minum, semua kena jaga, kena bersihkan rumah, and then you have husbands who just dump everything to the wife, and then go for riding motorcycle with their friends,
Tak lah, dekat sini tak
Disagree lah.
Tak semua lah.
Familiar.
Before you go any further on that point, if I can just add.
Yeah, sure.
For me, mental health is quite simple. It's about the state of your mental well-being. And like Mus mentioned just now, it's part of your overall health and well-being. And just like physical health, there are two sides where on one side or the upside, you take proactive approach to take care of your physical health as well as your mental health, i.e. to be more happy, to realize your potential, your abilities. And on the other hand, you also have the downside or the reactive approach to mental health, which is to make sure you seek the necessary treatment or medical help when it comes to mental illness or mental health conditions. And just like physical health again, you have high blood pressure lah, sakit jantung lah and whatnot. So mental health pun ada a few illness lah. I mean the key ones being anxiety, depression, bipolar and so on. For me that's all.
So,
Yeah, do you want to add on?
yeah, I want to add on. I just want to tell this statement: women must have strong mental,
Yes.
because we need to cope with our daily life. Balik kerja ada kerja.
Kita
kerja
double
lain.
shift tau.
Double shift.
Kita double shift
Double
tau.
shift. Bukan double shift, forever shift.
Forever.
Forever.
Shift dia tak pernah
tak
end
pernah
tu.
end. Yeah. so if I were to add on,
Senyap dalam masa.
Don't argue.
yeah, betul.
Woman always right.
Betul. Happy wife, happy
Same
life.
answer.
Ni macam selalu nak pergi ride punya ni.
Minta izin senang. And so based on one of the article yang I baca recently on the mental health punya research in US lah, not in Malaysia lah, ni in US lah. More and more adolescents macam umur cakap 16 years old and above up to the early macam 20s, young adults, they tend to have they tend to have more and more of them tend to have in fact more than 50% of them, you can say, semua ada some sort of mental health problem or issues, but some of them they are not realizing it lah. So as compared to the older generation, then this researcher trying to find out, to nail down what is actually the cause of it. But there is a glaring demarcation saying that kebanyakan this young generation, they actually main game, play a lot of online games. They use a lot of gadget to interact with their friends, and they are spend a lot of time on social media.
Everything's virtual.
Yes, virtual. So this actually has some sort, could be some sort impact on this young generation, because they spend lots and more time on using this gadget, as opposed to older generation like me. Kita kurang sikit lah on social media. I pun memang hardly masuk social media. So we tend to have more physical contact. We
More
do
social,
outdoor
physical social contact.
outdoor activities. So you tak fixated on this on the gadget. So that would be could be one of the reason why they have these issues.
Okay, so we've broadly touched upon how mental health has a wide definition. It encompasses our emotional well-being, our ability to do our day-to-day tasks. There's a reactive approach, there's a proactive approach to it. A lot of young people, about 1 million people in Malaysia, are affected by some form of mental disorder that are diagnosed. There might be more that are not diagnosed and people are not aware of. So definitely this is a really important topic to talk about, and it's fitting with with the upcoming World Mental Health Day kan. So I guess within that realm, right, since Umar, you mentioned mental health disorders don't discriminate. They affect everyone and anyone whenever it comes. Do you have your own personal experiences dealing with issues like this? If there are any, would you guys care to share?
Personal experience, no lah, fortunately.
Fortunately, yeah.
Fortunately, I mean, with due respect to whoever that is suffering from this lah, right? I mean, I do have a friend though, who is suffering from depression.
Always friend lah.
Yeah,
Always
always
friend.
friend.
I ada kopi, I waras bro.
Tak ada
Stabil.
kopi,
Tak ada kopi, problem. So I do have a friend who's actually suffering from depression. I mean, I wouldn't have known if she didn't share with me. She looked perfectly all right to me, right? But the good thing is that she is doing something about it, you know, So this acceptance lah. I mean, in order for you to help yourself, you need to allow people to help you. You need to realize that there is actually you are affected by it, right? It brings me, you see, like you see, there is more. I mean, when I was growing up, my view of mental health disorder, I think I probably speak for a large group of people, is the only term, orang gila, kurang sioman. You know, that's how they are being referred to. It's such a derogatory term to use actually. But now we know that mental health is beyond mental disorder. You know, it affects how we feel, how we act, how we react, how we respond. So it affects everything, right? And we are more, the awareness is there now. And of course, along with awareness, there is also more support group. There is more access to medical assistance. There's more specialists available, and we also know now that, like what my colleague shared, that you know, there's all kind of mental illness, anxiety, bipolar, substance abuse disorder, personality disorder, eating disorder pun ada. Aku baru tahu . So I mean awareness is there. We have come a long way, I must say, but what I feel that is still lacking is acceptance, right? Be it from the person who is suffering from it, or their family members, or even their friends. And you know, I think it's the social stigma that is still surrounding the issue of mental health, right? I mean, you see, we are Asians. We are living in Malaysia. We are always concerned about what other people will think about us. What my mother will think about me. What my father will think about me. What my neighbor's cat will think about me. What my grandmother who died 20 years ago will think about me. So I mean, because of this social stigma, I think the person who supposedly to get help, they rather live with it, or worse, live in denial. You know, so that is something that I feel that need to be changed. Yeah.
If I can add to that point, on stigma.
Yep.
My view is the root cause of that is that it is not fully accepted.
Yep.
That mental illness is a medical condition.
Correct.
It's not just because stress and then suddenly jadi kurang siuman. And based on our research, there are 3 main causes of mental illness. The first one is biological. Biological means our genetics, how our body functions, and the chemical levels in our brain, in our body. So that's number 1. Cause number 2 is developmental experience, our childhood experience. Some may experience trauma or abuse that will also lead to mental illness. And number 3 is social factor. I think number 3 is the cause that people relate the most when it comes to mental illness. We talk about relationship issues, unemployment, poverty, work stress. But actually, as I mentioned, 3 main causes, and even biological will also contribute to mental illness, just like our physical illness, just like sakit jantung. Contributing factors will also include genetics and chemical levels in our body. So I think because of that, that's where there is that stigma that this person cannot cope with the stresses of life, thus they have depression, thus they fall into anxiety. So we need to change that perception, that awareness, understanding. Then slowly I think we can address that stigma punya problem.
Everyone has different predispositions, right? Some people are born to become more, like what you said, ada more genetic factors, more prone to sakit jantung. Some people are more prone to high stress, so they are more likely to be diagnosed with anxiety. I studied psychology when I was back in uni. Yeah, so what Faiz mentioned touches on the model called the biopsychosocial model. So essentially those 3 components.
So apa tadi? Bio,
psycho, social.
Psycho.
Kita ingat psycho je lah.
Psycho je.
Dengar psycho kan?
Kita ingat psycho je lah. Stigma.
Psychosocial.
Essentially it kind of is a model as to how someone can be more likely or more prone to become diagnosed with mental health disorders.
Jadi kita boleh invite dia lah.
Betul. Kan? Buat bagi awareness lah. Awareness talk.
Sekarang boleh tukar.
Boleh tukar.
Tempat nak duduk sini kan. Boleh juga.
Alright, how about Mustaqim or Azura? How about you guys? Do you have any? What about your own views or experiences?
Nak kata personal tu tak adalah kan, just
Sure, no bro.
Aku.
kita mentally stable.
Stable.
Tak adalah. I mean, you all remember COVID kan? COVID,
Yep.
MCO, we have first MCO, second MCO, third MCO. So all this during a short period of time kan?
Yeah.
So I think we all can relate because we share the same experience. We are confined at home kan? So bila kita kat rumah, our movement are restricted. And then kalau kita nak keluar, of course we have to go to, ada banyak step. Police get the approval and then go to, and then along the way we have to go to law blocks. Sampai kat kedai ada few SOP, social distancing
Pun dah
apa semua.
stress.
So I think this all could somehow affect the mental state of a person lah basically. And also during just some study lah, I think 70% of respondent shows that they have an increased level of anxiety and also stress during this MCO period. And also I think it's important to note talian hayat based on their data given during the first week of MCO, there's an increase of cases reported. So I think it's about 57% increase. Ramai.
Ramai tu. You ada call tak?
Tak adalah.
Aku.
Kita ada tips how to
Cik.
Yalah, dia dah mental strong. 4 kali accident
Still jalan.
Sejalan mental strong tu.
So because talian hayat is related to domestic abuse apa semua kan. So one of the factor of
Talian kasih.
talian hayat pula. Talian kasih. Yeah. So one of the contribution which contributes to actually mental illness is domestic abuse jugalah kan. So okay, another point during this MCO period ni, I think we can see that there are many new social media users. So when we at home, we cannot do anything, kan? So after work, for example, kan? So we try to communicate through online. So we can see nowadays ada banyak social media kan. So if you go to the comment section, you can see the netizen punya comment lah. So this social media actually the place where everyone can express anything. Tapi of course they have some consequences lah, as long as doesn't breach the law kan. So you can see online persecution, body shaming, and then defamatory word, even threat.
Cyberbullying.
Cyberbullying. So I think this is the big downside of this social media is actually cyberbullying. It's so serious. I think we have a few cases along the road pun yang this leads to actually suicide.
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 Correct.
So
people can hide behind the anonymity of users kan.
Betul.
So affect the person actually, we don't know how it affect the person kan, tapi it truly affect the person sampai they think to take their own life kan. So I think at this stage, zaman teknologi apa semua, we cannot be left behind. So what we can do is actually we take our own care of our own mental health lah. So if we see that something is off, immediately we need to apply some techniques, tips, ataupun we seek help.
We have to do something about it, and we need to recognize our patterns. You know, when we need help ataupun we need rest kan. So step away from what is stressing us and then take action.
Yep.
Thank you so much for sharing.
If I may to add on to what just mentioned, the COVID is actually one of the main contributing to our mental health at this juncture. I wish to actually continue with my own personal experience. Everybody stay at home, including and I have children, young children at that time, teenagers children. One of my son at teenage age, now he's early 20 now. So that's what happened. Because the kids cannot go out, so how they could get connected with their friends? So they play games, online games, social media. So they pick up that, and that is in sync on what actually I mentioned just now. But in US, the young generation having this gadget a lot. So what happened to my son is he start having sweaty palms. He start having a sleep problem, sleep disorder. He tend to wake up in the middle of the night, and he put on weight. Of course lah, put on weight kan, sebab tak boleh keluar kan, job apa semua kan, senang duduk kat rumah. So that that actually has changed his biological chemical,
Biological system dah
yeah, the system
berubah.
is lari. So but one thing about my son, he realized that something is not right about him. So and kids, they Google, they cari why this symptom coming out and whatnot. So he found out that he does have this sort of like mental issues, and he's actually struggling to sleep early. He changed actually. From there, he rely that what is happening to him, he wants to address the problem. So he changed his lifestyle. Now he jog in the morning or cycling in the morning, and evening. So satu hari 2 kali. He managed to reduce his weight from 70 over kg up to now is like around 60. And he's very fit now. Makan pun tak banyak, control. So he able to overcome that sort of mental issues. So now he's great.
Good now.
Yes,
good.
So he managed to overcome that mental slump lah.
Yes.
Betul.
Interesting.
So self-reliance, you kena sendiri do a check on yourself. Acceptance. You kena tahu what's wrong with you. You sendiri tahu, orang lain tak tahu. So and then whether you seek help or you help yourself first. So in my son case, he helped himself first, and it shows some positive development. So and the next option, kalau tak, maybe you need to go and do a health screening kind of thing lah, to get somebody outsiders to help you overcome.
That's really important that you need to recognize, you need to be self-aware, and you also need to instigate that you're the one that's seeking help. Orang lain tak boleh paksa untuk you sendiri yang kena nak cari solution kepada masalah kita.
Yeah.
I think that doesn't apply to just mental health disorders or stresses in life. It applies to everything. You yourself need to change
Yes.
in order for good things to come your way, right?
Betul.
I guess then topping on the topic of now we kind of like defined what mental health is. We've shared some stories, some research. How about tips? What are tips on like having a good mental health?
I can take this one first.
Ada lah tu. Berderet lah tu.
But okay, before that, I have to emphasize that different ways work for different people. So what works for me may not work for you guys. And for me, the first one is exercise, regular exercise. I try to jog 2 or 3 times a week, and half an hour for each session in the morning. And in terms of the benefit, it is well documented lah. There are a lot of research reports out there that shows the positive link between regular exercise and physical health as well as mental health. So that's number 1. Number 2, I need my sleep. I need 7 to 8 hours of
8
sleep.
hours, my
To
goodness.
baby sleep.
Baby sleep. Semalam you tidur pukul berapa?
Dalam 10:30.
10:30 puan, 10:30 I was packing my daughter's bag.
10:30. Again, I need my 7-8 hours of sleep.
Yelah, orang lelaki kan tak ada
Lelaki
kerja,
tak ada
boleh
kerja.
tidur saja.
Tidur lah. 9:30 pun boleh tidur.
If
I ada
I
staff
get-
yang tidur pukul 9:30 weh.
9:30. Tak cukup kerja.
Tak cukup kerja.
So you jaga you punya sleep hygiene very well.
Yes. And again, there are a lot of research reports out there
Definitely.
that shows the positive link between having enough sleep and again physical and mental health lah. So I don't have to prove anything to you guys. Sila baca.
Okay.
That's number 2. And number 3, I think as we grow older, as we gain more experience, we learn that there are things beyond our control. So as long as we try our best, we do the best that we can, we try the hardest, no matter what the outcome is, what the outcomes are, what the results are, kita terima lah dengan hati yang terbuka. Kita reda. Yes.
Okay, so exercise, enough sleep, and letting go.
Yes. Umar macam tak setuju.
Macam cerita Frozen pula.
Bukan tak setuju. I mean, the word exercise itself stresses me.
Allergic.
I dengar exercise, I stress tau. Kalau anjing kejar pun tak lari tau. Confirm tak lari punya. So me, I tak boleh lah. Exercise and me very far lah. So for me, I like to listen to songs. I mean, I like music. I cannot sing. So before you all want to, include me in some karaoke session, so I can't sing. But I like to listen to song, and I have this habit of listening to good songs repeatedly. So somehow it calms my nerves.
It's comforting.
Correct. I know it calms myself down lah. So just to calm myself. And the other thing is that I love food. I love, not healthy food. Not salad, of course. Salad is not food, by the way.
I need to quote research or reports on that as well.
Enough. My own experience. So I love cooking for my family. I enjoy the whole process of marketing, looking for fresh produce and cooking and watching them enjoying my food lah. I mean, whatever I cook for them. So that is a stress buster for me.
You forgot to mention makan as well lah.
Makan.
Not just
Makan
cooking,
mesti,
makan
weh.
as well.
Makan mesti. Makan. Last sekali makan. So that aside, I think the most important thing that I'm doing now as I grow lah. Cannot cakap as I age kan. As I grow. Like what my colleague Faiz. Mature. As what my colleague Faiz just shared, I begin to accept or trying to master the art of letting go. Kita manusia ni macam-macam tau. Macam-macam perangai. Ada yang sejak kecil dia memang setan lah. Ada yang pura-pura baik tapi dia setan. So unfortunately we are in this world where we need to coexist with all these creatures, So we got no choice, right? So to me, I beginning to understand, like we need to pick our battle lah. I don't have to win every argument. If I win some, I lose some. If to me, I also now, I mean, it's difficult, but I'm getting there. I also learn how to and pause and think whether is there a necessity for me to respond, because is there a necessity for me to respond, and what is it that I'm responding to? Who am I responding to? So and does every situation requires my reaction? Even silence is a form of response, right? So to me, I'm getting there, but to me, it's like if it's something that requires my response, I don't want it to be a situation where nanti I pula yang stress. Padahal the person who said it, okay je dia. Then to me, at the end of the day, my mental health is more important, right? To me, so I'm more mindful of who am I responding to, what am I responding, even is there even a necessity to react? So if I need to walk away, I walk away. So somebody come and tell me, hari ni langit hijau lah bro. So be it. I'm chicha man lang kau. So to me, I'm beginning to learn that. And the other thing that I thought I should share is that I recently read this, so it's a bit harder to practice, but I read somewhere that if it won't matter in 5 years' time, don't waste more than 5 minutes thinking about it.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
so
love that so much.
yeah, it's difficult, but because kita tengah bengang pun dah 5 minit dah kan. But I think that is something that we need to practice lah. Yeah.
Because in the long term, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Really. What mattered to you in 5 years ago, you can't even remember now. Yeah. So I think we need to be very mindful how we react, because at the end of the day, it affects your own mental health. Yeah.
To control our reactions,
Yeah.
right?
Betul.
So songs, cooking, eating,
Eating, of
and
course.
also managing emotions and
Yeah.
reactions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Mustaqim, do you want to go?
Okay, for me, I think relaxation play a major role in actually maintaining our mental health. So people always say, relax kan. So actually, how are we going to relax? That's a big question. So there are many tips, simple tips that we can actually incorporate into our own daily life. So for me, one example that I can give is actually through breathing techniques.
Breathing techniques.
Breathing techniques.
So if you search online, there are many ways how we can breathe actually, technically. So
Technically.
I think I find it the most comforting to me is a technique called two-step inhale breathing techniques.
Okay.
So it's like you pause in the middle for 1 or 2 seconds, and then you breathe out. So let go. So for me lah, it's the most comforting. You can actually try. There are many techniques. You can try which one work best for you. So this actually breathing technique ni, it can actually tone down your emotion kan, your stress level. There are also other method. It's called alternate nostril. So,
Oh, okay.
this one you breathe one nostril and then you let go the other one.
I see. So selang-seli
So
lah.
macam selang-seli.
Okay.
So a bit funny lah, tapi I mean you can try lah that one kan. So
But it works for you.
no, for me the first one.
The first one works for
Lubang,
you.
lubang hidung tu susah, tersumbat nanti tak boleh.
I baru nak tanya. Kalau hidung semua macam mana?
But I didn't know there were so many breathing techniques.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
even
Like
yoga
yoga.
pun yoga pun dia ada certain techniques jugalah. So and then second, it's also related to nose actually, aromatherapy.
Oh, sure.
It's called therapy for a reason.
Semua hidung-hidung ni.
Semua hidung. Bab hidung ni dia expert.
Well,
The nose expert.
it's called therapy for a reason now, because scientific data, it says that when you smell good, I mean the smell travel to nerve, it can actually stimulate certain part of your brain. We all know kan, our brain consists of several parts. There are certain parts that control the motor skill, and then certain part control the cognitive function, and the other one is emotion. So for me, I love lavender lah. Lavender, for me, I think that lavender has the most calming punya smell.
Very soothing.
Very soothing. I mean, there's many flavor ataupun that essential oil. You can try any other lah, which one work for you the best. Even at my home, actually, my home, my car, semua ada that aromatherapy.
Semua lavender.
Pandai jual minyak ni.
Lavender.
Pandai je minyak.
Pandai jual minyak ni.
And
Hari-hari you hidup ke? Stress.
stress I mean it's important because stress, if you not control it, it can increase and then it can affect actually your mental health lah.
So that's one of your preventative measures lah,
Yeah.
or like your
And
reactive measure.
last
your
thing,
corrective measure.
I think the last thing is find activities lah which you love most, and then you do it. Of course, when you love to do something, you tend to be more. You tend to concentrate more lah. Kan? So you tend to forget about anything else.
Keep your mind off
Keep
the
mind
stress.
off. Yeah, find something that you love to do lah. Kumpul stamp ke kan, kalau ni.
Pupus stamp dah hampir pupus.
Stem.
Semua email.
Pen
Tapi
pop.
that's one
Hobby lah.
Hobby lah.
Hobby
Something
lah.
that takes away your mind from the.
from it.
Yeah. So understand.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. So you mentioned about breathing techniques, aromatherapy, and essentially busying your mind with engaging in hobbies, active hobbies. Okay, alright. Azura, do you want to share?
Yeah, I think what they are doing quite similar to what I'm doing. It's just that first thing, memang kalau we know we jumpa all sorts of people and dealing with sorts of people, sometimes it makes us marah, anger kan. So what I normally does is actually I let it go. I let it go I found a place to let it go. I will not actually go after the person and what not. Try not to lah kan at the moment. Bukan ambil kayu belasah kan. Tak. It just
Kita tenangkan diri kita.
kita tenang diri kita and let it go by actually I say it to let down it to something. One of the way is actually I use my phone or what. I just type apa yang I tak puas hati. I let it go to my gadget. I use my gadget for that purpose, to let it go. Sometimes kita let go, we talk to our friends and what not kan, or we do something yang give us the interest so that we can have a clear mind. So one of the ways is just let it go, you know, and after that you feel much better. After that when I meet the person yang I marah ke, yang I'm upset ke, things are better now. I don't have it will avoid me from arguing with that person. So our relationship will not be teruk lagi lah kan. So because I dah let go, you know, I dah tak ada inside me. So and on top of that, you see, I'm wearing smartwatch. This smartwatch can detect my stress level, my BPM, how many
Your
steps.
steps.
Yes. So this is one way to keep me healthy. And in fact, it will track my sleep. So mental health also, kalau you tak ada enough sleep, macam Cik Faiz tu kan, dia dah cukup.
Ya,
Kita
cukup dah
cukup.
terover tu.
So I tak rasa I tak cukup lah sebab working mommy
Of
kan.
course.
memang tak cukup. But I want to track quality sleep. Terasa.
Don't argue.
Betul, betul, betul.
Terasa. So I want to track my quality sleep because good rest is actually opponent to good mental, good physical health. Jadi kita perlu sayangkan diri kita. We ourselves need to take action. How to take care of ourselves. How to measure if there is something wrong with ourselves. So I memang follow this. Make sure I have 6,000 steps every day. Pagi-pagi belum buat apa, I check my heart pressure because that is the most ideal time. I check my oxygen level. I check my heartbeat. I check my stress level because that is me. So but along the day when you have activity, kita punya BP naik turun, high blood level also fluctuate. But that is the true one. So I do that before I jump up from my bed and before I go to bed because I want to monitor that. At least that what I can do for myself lah.
So you mentioned letting go. I think the term for it is called catharsis. So contohnya kita tengah marah ke apa kan, contoh kita pergi kickboxing, kita tumbuk-tumbuk the punching bag just to kind of let it out, kita lepaskan, and then we feel better. And then you also monitor your physical stress levels because then it will provide insight into what's probably going on inside you. Awesome, thank you so much. So I think everyone has shared their own personal coping mechanisms, dealing with life stresses, and making sure that we're taking care of our mental health. I guess then let's move on to more professional punya question pula. Everyone here are leaders.
Yep.
Right? You are leaders in your own departments. You're working together as a team. So how do you as leaders then ensure that you jaga the mental health of yourselves and also your team?
Okay, maybe I can take this one first. For me, it's not so much of doing something, but it's more in terms of creating a healthy working environment. I personally don't believe in a stressful working environment. I can't operate like that. So for me, I try to ensure that my staff is able to perform without as much interference or stress coming from my part. I have a personal experience on this actually. I mean, many years ago, but 10 years ago I was working with let's not name the organization. This particular boss, I was reporting to this boss she is actually very, very difficult. So difficult that not only to me, to all her staff. And the heads from other department, if they have a meeting with her, they actually call and ask me first, hari ni cuaca macam mana? Kemarau ke? So say, kemarau, meeting cancel. So because it's the aura that and there's so much of negativity. And there was a joke going around at that time. When I was there, I don't know whether you all remember the movie Purge. Purge is the Purge, right? It's about in US they legalize crime for one day. It's a way of cleansing, Yes. So the joke was that if crime is legalized for one day in Malaysia, confirm bos aku kena bunuh. Not only that, they berlumba-lumba, berdere-dere orang mesti. So to me, right, so I think that time I was a manager. So but somehow I stayed there for about 6 years lah. Masa tu nak belajar lah kan, experience kan. So tahan. So but my key takeaway from that particular individual is that if I become a boss one day, I don't want to be like her. I don't want to treat my staff like that. So for me, currently, I have about 7 reporting to me. So I believe that, kena cakap believe lah, aku shock sendiri. I believe that I have a friendly and a cordial relationship with all my staff. I prefer having that. For me, all my staff know their role in the department. Everyone have a role to play. They know what is their job. I don't have to remind them that I'm their boss. They know I'm the boss. I don't believe in imposing that. And I believe in a two-way communication. I believe to be an approachable boss so that they can anytime come and discuss things with me, rather than me just giving instruction and they coming to me and a review dah. I try to have a closer relation, because to me, right, for me, I'm also reporting to someone, right? So I want to be happy when I come to work. Similarly, I think that's how my staff should feel too. When you're happy at work, everything else falls into place. It's a domino effect. You know, I like I said, my experience, right? When I was working for that particular individual, I dragged myself to work. I remember how I felt. Yeah, pelik juga aku tak depressed masa tu. Tak ada awareness masa tu. So to me, that's the kind of environment that I would like to create and that I'm working on. Yeah.
So if you were to spend like 8 hours of your life every
Correct.
day,
Yep.
it at work,
Yes.
might as well make it a fun environment.
Correct.
Yes,
Exactly.
betul.
They are spending so much time with that. God knows what is happening at home. I mean, let's not make it even more harder for them. At the end of the day, we need both. I mean, they need their boss, I need them.
It's a two-way
It's a two-way
relationship.
relationship. Suka tak suka, you need to, you know. I mean, of course, everyone have their own characteristics. That is then my role as a boss to understand their needs, right? And then you can't lead without being a good example. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yep.
Anyone else? Maybe Azura, maybe?
Maybe yeah. For me, I truly agree with the way Uma lead her team, because as a leader, you need to have a good communication with your downliner. If you don't have that, you will never get things done effectively. There will be grievance, tak puas hati, you know. So you got to be open and yes, we are the boss. We don't have to tell them that we are the boss.
Correct.
But we need to lead them to do what we want them to do. And they are adults. They know their responsibility. No doubt. I personally, as a person, my motto, what I tell myself lah kan, I will need to work as if there's no tomorrow. I need to finish my work today. So I expect the same from my staff. But I don't actually pressure or macam tunjuk autocratic. No, because it is a two-way communication. We actually complement each other. We work as a team. So everybody has their own unique punya background. Maybe my personality and the other person personality is different, tapi we need to respect that, because itu dia, saya. Tapi where we are in the office, we are nak cari rezeki halal. We want to deliver our good performance, our best. So our job is our priority in the office. Jadi buatlah dengan kesan, yes,
kesungguhan.
and buat sungguh, and don't ever, kalau kerja tu bukan you punya, you jangan nak tai chi, but you take it up, because the more you take, the more knowledge you got.
Correct.
I value that. Sometimes kadang I rasa bukan, ini bukan kerja I, tapi I pick it up. You know what, I ikhlas dengan kerja ni. I want, by taking up this extra job, I got the knowledge. Orang lain yang tak pick up, dia tak akan dapat knowledge tu. So that's how I teach my team, and that's how my team know me. So they know who they are. So I won't say. So that's me lah. Itu saya.
So essentially, taking up challenges as an opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
We shape it so that benda ni bukan benda yang patut kita stress.
Yeah.
If you don't know, let's figure it out together.
Betul.
Because we create a safe environment to work with together. Okay, that's great. Mustaqim, Faiz, how about you guys?
Okay, for me, I think this saying, leaders should lead by example. So I think we all know this. As a leader, we should show healthy behaviors, kan? And then we should treat people how we want to be treated.
Correct.
So I think this is the most important lah.
Yeah.
Keep this in mind, because after a while we are all human being, kan? So mistake apa semua tu tak lari. So empathy kita kena ada, and then of course as a human we need to communicate. So make effort to personally engage that person, our staff, kan? So even casual talks, ask about families, ask about how what their days, kan? So I think they will appreciate that lah. So this also could actually help in open kita instill that open communication and also supportive punya communication throughout our department. And then I think the most important, leader should be free from any stigma on mental health.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
As a leader, kalau ada you see that any red flag, any sign of the staff is depressing ke apa, kan?
Struggling.
Tapi we have to assess the situation lah.
Tactful sikit lah.
Takkan
Tactful.
satu macam
Ha.
sekali stress, oh no,
Memang gone case.
No, we have to assess the situation, and then we have to approach him, try to approach, and then we can actually encourage him to talk.
Yeah.
You say it's okay to have this issue. Can, I mean, just give our support. So I think the most important part is to support the staff lah. Yeah.
Yeah lah, but how would we know when to intervene and when not to intervene? I think that's where awareness, understanding,
Correct.
appreciation of this subject for us as leaders is important. We also need to enhance our knowledge,
Yep.
to know when exactly to intervene. Of course, there are no. Sometimes the signs are not obvious, but we are not trained medical officers lah. But
Betul,
at least
betul,
the basics,
betul.
I think we should know,
Betul.
so that we can help our staff.
Yes.
And to Umar's point earlier on stressful work environment, I guess it depends on the nature of work, the line of work. Like for me, strategy, we
Hey,
cannot run away from a stressful
Compliance also stress tau.
lah.
So
hey, legal pun stress kan?
itulah.
We have 2 or 3
Semua stress,
board
tak ada
papers
stress.
in every board meeting.
I have BRMC every quarter, bro.
Every quarter, board meeting every two
Board pun
months.
ada.
So it's you need to manage that stressful environment lah. It's not to avoid it completely, but know how to manage it. As cliche as it may sound, as the previous head of strategic planning,
Oh.
the planning part is very important. I always advocate my team members to plan their work properly, to come up with detailed timeline, be it 2-3 months exercise or even 2 or 3 weeks exercise. Come up with a plan, timeline, milestone, so that you can manage your work well. And I believe in this Parkinson's law lah, that says work expands so as to fill the time allocated or given for its completion. So if you don't plan well, then the work will just accumulate.
Yep.
Then you have more work on your desk.
Then you become
Then
stressful.
stress.
Yes.
No, if I can just add on to what you just said, I mean, you are right, because the work itself is stressful. I think what I was trying to emphasize is that, I mean, we all have our timeline to meet, our
now
work
banyak
obligation
stress lah
to
juga.
meet. Huh?
So now stress lah juga.
No, it's not that. As it is, right, different people approach work challenge differently. I mean, we as leaders, I think we need to understand that different staff have different capability.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we all have a common goal. We need to get it done.
Yep.
But what I was trying to emphasize is that as leaders, as it is, the staff is already stressed. Janganlah tambah lagi as a leader, try to make it a healthy. I mean, don't add up to the stress even further.
Healthy
Correct.
environment.
Correct.
That's
So
the
yeah,
one.
I mean, don't have to like, I mean, cakap pun in a nicer tone lah. I mean, keep it like a light, but at the end of the day, you have a common goal. You have to finish the paper.
Yeah, betul.
Yeah.
I think all of this kind of succinct into the point of making sure that the environment is a good environment, having the right tools through planning, ensuring that everyone knows what their rules are, treat others how you want to be treated, and essentially take up challenges as they come and take it in a positive light. I think that's a good key takeaways from advice to other leaders out there, how to manage stress ataupun how to manage teams punya emotional well-being lah. Since that we are quite short on time, I think we'll try to take maybe 1 or 2 questions from the audience.
Okay.
And before we wrap up, is that okay? Okay, let's see the first question. So the first question is, people often say we should continue to challenge ourselves as humans have no limit. But at which point we should raise our hand and white flag that we need mental support / assistance?
I can try to respond to
Yeah.
that. Because like in life, hardly there are black and white, 1 or 0.
So it's not binary.
So it's not binary. Even that point, I think, is arbitrary. You know yourself. That's where awareness, understanding, knowledge on this mental awareness is very important. So when you know yourself, you know your limit. And you know when to seek treatment. You know when you should say, hey, this is enough. As I mentioned earlier, there are proactive and negative approach, proactive and reactive approach to mental health. As much as possible, of course, we want to avoid the being pulled into the medical the mental illness, mental health conditions. And on proactive approach, we need to take initiatives to strengthen our mental illness as well. Part of mental illness, part of proactive approach is to, again, as I mentioned earlier, to realize our potential. For me, arbitrary point.
Yeah.
Just know when to seek help and actually just seek
Yeah.
help. Know
Yes.
yourself well.
I just want to add one thing to this question. Actually, what you need to look for the trigger point. The easiest trigger point here is actually if you have sleeplessness. That means will you able to sleep soundly at night or not? So that would be a trigger point, because when you wanted to go to bed, you can't sleep. That is very first,
Alarming.
yes, the trigger point, and that's where you start to have your own self-realization. What's wrong with me? Why I'm feeling this way? So you know yourself better. So and you need to think of the reason and try to actually overcome it. But if you unable to, then you should seek help.
Try to
Yeah.
seek help. I think that's a good point. The sleep thing, I think I really like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have time for one more question.
Maybe the
Okay. In your opinion, what roles do companies play in promoting mental health? And specifically, how CGC can create a supportive environment for employees dealing with mental health challenges?
Okay, maybe I can just try to answer this. So, for me, it's not only CGC, any organization for that matter, right? I think, like I said just now, awareness. I think we need to, probably organization need to have, encourage more awareness in terms of this subject. And when it comes to awareness too, don't just give a very general, what is mental health? No. I think we have already moved beyond that, right?
Yeah.
I think what organizations can do is that to explain the type of mental illness that can affect a person and what are the signs and symptoms that to look out for, you know. And then when you see, people are often confused, like what my colleague just shared just now. You stress satu hari tak semestinya you depression tau.
Yes.
You know, and depression and being sad is two different things. Sad is an emotion. Depression requires clinical diagnosis tau. For example, kan puan, kalau husband kita marah kita, kita sad lah. Tapi kalau contohnya, kalau kita dah termiss yang 10-10 sales ke 12 itu depression tau. Itu major depression. Itu depression.
7-7.
Itu depression. I need medical assistance. Itu depression. So to me, so I think that kind of awareness, right? So that and also when you have the awareness in terms of what are the red flags to look out for, go a step further and tell them what can they do. Is it a support group within the organization, or if you don't have that now in the organization, to also tell them what kind of assistance or screening that is available beyond the organization. For example, give them like avenue for them to contact. Contoh Befrienders or Relate Malaysia. There are many support groups out there. So takkan, I mean, it's not about you checking the checklist, then orang tu kan, aku dah buat apa ni? I have this, you know, so I suppose a more deep dive down and then a more detailed kind of awareness lah. Yeah, correct. So that they can help themselves and they can do a self-check-in.
Yeah. And then that thing, buang the stigma. Because
Correct.
the stigma, when you say that you ada mental condition, people ingat you gila. You are not.
You're not.
Actually, you have issue on managing you punya emotion.
Correct.
So before it gets worse, there's nothing wrong actually for you to start talking and seeking help. And we know sekarang ni pun dah ada mental health punya screening. Go, take it up.
Right.
Yeah. So that at least we tackle your problem at the early stage. Yeah.
And then just to add one point, just to give some example what other companies are doing. For example, Petronas. Petronas, they collaborated with Malaysian Psychiatric Association. So they set up this training whereby they train first aider, mental health first aiders. Mental first aider. Mental first aider dipanggil itu. Certified mental first aider. So similar to our certified first aider yang bagi CPR tu semua kan. This certified mental first aider ni actually the first respondent actually they actually been trained to recognize the sign of the mental health punya issues. So they will be the first to engage their friends, their colleagues apa semua kan.
As intervention,
Yeah, as intervention. And then of course they will refer it to the professional lah. And then Petronas also has set up their own internal support group. They call it My Friends. So through the support group, they provide consultation, so online training, and then also awareness on this mental health.
That's a great way for organizations to learn from each other.
Yep.
What good things we can take away, implement it for everyone's well-being. I think that's all the questions we'll take for now, because we're running on time. So perhaps we can share one key takeaway to the audience. What's your advice from this whole conversation? What's one key takeaway you want the audience to know?
So maybe I can go first. I think mental health is important, and it is not a sign of weakness. If you are suffering, don't suffer in silence. Accept and seek help. Right? There is a lot of avenue available now, and this also goes to people who are, say for example, you are blessed with a good health, a good mental health and physical and everything, right? But by God's grace, be kind. Think before you speak. What is a joke to you may not be funny to others, right? Be mindful of that, right? If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything.
Betul.
Because of you, someone else will get stressed out, right? And you don't know how is that person going to be impacted because of what you said. So yeah, that's all.
So seek help and be kind.
Be kind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Azura?
Very simple. Just try to love yourself. You are the only person who know what's wrong with you. You are the only person know how to make yourself happy. So you just take care of yourself, because there's a lot of options that you can do, but the first step is actually always from you. To change is always from you, from in.
Yeah, so self-love.
Yes.
Right, thank you. Short and sweet. Mustaqim?
Yeah, for me, I think we need to remember that physical health is as important as mental health. So kalau kita physical health kita ada isu, contoh kita demam, sakit tekak, demam kita take Panadol, sakit tekak strepsil, fisherman friend kan. So for mental health, try the tips or the techniques which could ease down the stress. I said that many techniques previously kan, the breathing techniques, aromatherapy. Find your own style lah, whichever suit for you. We need to ensure that actually our mental health keep being checked lah, and then support others. Kan? So avoid the stigma. So we need to be supportive of others, and then be cautious about the early sign of mental health issue, supaya kita boleh intervene lah kalau ada issues, and then how to support is actually kita engage that person lah.
So physical health is just as important as mental health, and vice versa, and also support others.
Support others.
Thank you. Faiz?
Sleep.
Sleep more.
Sleep more.
Sleep more.
8 hours sleep.
Together, let's raise awareness on this topic. Yes, now maybe we are beyond awareness. So again, together, let's raise our knowledge on this topic, our understanding of this topic, as well as appreciation on this topic, so that we together we can reduce the stigma, be more empathy to other people, and help each other to promote a greater mental health or mental well-being.
So I think with that, with all the wonderful insights and stories we've shared, I think that can conclude our podcast for today. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. Sorry we didn't get time to... Oh, have we logged out? Thank you to everyone who tuned in, and hope to see you guys in the next episode. Bye. Bye.